Hey everybody, it's your buddy Scott. We're back here on the patio on the Danforth talking to our friend Imad Ali again. So we are recapping what happened last week. We went to a park and we did record a Q&A video, but unfortunately the wind was blowing over the mic and you couldn't really hear what we were saying. So we're back at the same restaurant we were at last week to do another Q&A video. So our first question is from Chris. Our buddy Chris Peaks, host of the C Show, he asked, do you believe he was impersonated in Mexico City? Hoover thinks he could have been.
It's possible, but I just don't see any, enough evidence for that. I mean, there's solid evidence that Oswald was in Mexico City. He was at the Cuban embassy. He was at the Russian embassy as well. He was identified there.
I don't think it's even possible he could have been impersonated, because the person in the photo on his visa application in Cuba, that's him.
That is him.
And the writing on the visa application is his writing.
Right.
And all the people who interacted with him identified him as being the person they interacted with. So
it's only one guy who said that he wasn't too sure.
Yeah.
But the rest of them did, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's... I also, again, we were discussing this last week. If the intent is to frame Castro for having involvement in the assassination, why didn't they do that?
Yeah.
You know, why did the Warren Commission go out of the way to explicitly say Cuba was not involved in the assassination, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, unless you want to say that Sylvia Duran and all the employees and the employees of the Soviet embassy and all the employees at the Cuban embassy were all involved in this plot to frame Oswald, I don't see where an impersonation comes in here.
Yeah.
Which is absurd, right? I mean, how many people have to be involved in this conspiracy?
Well, in order to make it work, you have to have everybody be involved and you have to have everything be fake, right?
Yeah.
Like in order for Oswald to not have killed Kennedy, literally every single thing would have to be fake. He also asks, and somebody else asked this too, and we addressed this a bit last week, but I'll find the other person who asked this and I'll credit them too. But Chris asks, where was Oswald headed when he left the rooming house?
We covered this last time.
Yeah. Well, it was in the video that we didn't post because the audio was messed up.
Yeah.
Where was he heading? Into eternity. That's where he was going. I don't think he had a plan.
I don't either.
I think, like, I remember hearing Ruth Payne comment about this. She says that he thinks he only decided to do this on Thursday after he had already headed out the door to go to work. So by the time he was at work, it was too late to go get the pistol, and he had to go direct to Ruth Payne's house after work on Thursday to get the rifle. So there was no opportunity for him to get the pistol.
Exactly.
So he had to go out and get it after the shooting. So I think it was just by luck that he even got out of there at all to begin with, you know? I don't think
he was expecting to get out in one piece.
No. And once he got out and actually escaped and got back to the rooming house and got the revolver, I think at that point he was just kind of running on autopilot, you know? He was just moving around. When I was in Dallas one time, Jerry Dealey suggested something. He said that perhaps he was heading to a library in Oak Cliff. The way he was walking, it was kind of in the direction that he could have been going to a library, and that would have been a good place for him to lie low for a little bit, you know, while, you know, a quiet place where no one's going to ask any questions if you just sit there with your nose in a book.
Yeah, Oswald didn't plan all this very well. He didn't have enough time to. He basically went into a slow motion panic. So he appeared all calm and collected when he was confronted by Officer Baker. And then after that, you know, slowly, it's like he got out of the building. He wasn't expecting to get out of the building in one piece. Then after that, he didn't really have an idea beyond immediate survival, right?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
So nobody knows where he was headed, but what Jerry Dealey's proposing does make sense.
Yeah.
He was definitely not headed to the theater.
No. that was opportunistic. Like, he was going that way and he saw the theater and he thought, oh, a dark theater, okay, that's almost as good as a library. But by then the heat is really on him, you know. Cops are flooding into the area from every direction. I honestly don't think he had a plan at all. I just don't. I mean, not for his escape, obviously he had a plan to shoot JFK, but it just goes to show you how different the world was back then. The luncheon location was decided on Monday, and then on Tuesday it was released to the media, and the parade is on Friday.
Yeah.
So it's like, these things happen so fast. He just got lucky. Fortune and circumstance came together for him once, and it actually worked.
Well, you know, in the world of the conspiracy theorists, there can never be fortuitous opportunity.
No.
There's no such thing as a coincidence.
No.
There are no fudge factors, you know. Everything has to work like clockwork.
Yeah.
Like a Swiss watch, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, that's not the world that we live in.
So this question
Things
is
do
from
happen.
Patrick Collins. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Again, I'm just going to turn this to face the street so you're spared the sight of us eating our lunch. Patrick asks, ask Imad, was there a turning point, i.e. one particular book like Posner, or was it a gradual process going from conspiracy theorist to lone gunman?
There was a gradual process, but it was a result of cogitation, of just thinking, right? But I was still basically on the fence until I read Posner's book. And that's the one that it basically confirmed all my suspicions, laid them out in print, and you know, there was just no looking back after that.
For me, it was the McAdams website, but shortly thereafter, I did read Posner's book.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Posner's book, it's very good. It's very, like, succinct and to the point. It's very, you know, you can read the one-volume report on the Warren Commission, or you can just read Case Closed, and it's even more, like, broken down. It's even more easy to digest then. But yeah, honestly, it wasn't really a gradual process for me. I was a conspiracy theorist. I got on the McAdams website and answered most of my questions, and I was like, okay, I don't believe that anymore. Patrick also asks, how much conspiracy theorist stuff do you read now?
Good question. Honestly, I don't read conspiracy stuff anymore. I guess I should. I should know what the other side is trying to say. The last book that I read, on the conspiracy side, was Best Evidence by David Lifton.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read one after that. I should. I mean, the Eugenio's book, Reclaiming Parkland, is on my to-read list. I just like to see what he has to say, you know.
Did you, this is kind of unrelated, but since we're on the topic of conspiracy theories, did you happen to see the interview with McBride on Quorum Radio?
No, I saw the post, though.
I listened to it, and it's like, you don't really have to listen to, like, read an author's book to get the exact same arguments that you see every single day on the forums. It's like, he's pretty much just making the same claims that we hear all the time. And recall in our last discussion, I was saying to you about how when you ask conspiracy theorists what's the best explanation or what's the best fact in support of it, they invariably have like some variation of it's a subjective feeling that people have. While I was listening to that discussion, because it wasn't really a debate, it was a discussion, he was talking about the backyard photos.
Okay.
And he said the backyard photos, well, they just look fake. And if you look at them, you can just tell that they're fake. And I'm sitting there waiting to hear like the mechanism by which you can tell that.
Right.
You know? But it never comes. It never comes because there isn't one, you know? It's just this asserted conclusion. These are fake photos. Well, how do you know? Well, they just look fake if you look at them. Well, how do they look fake exactly? Like, what about them exactly is so fake?
Look, there should be enough photography experts that the conspiracy camp has access to that should be able to prove a fake, right?
Well,
it's been 57 years now. Come on.
The HSCA's photographic panel who examined those photographs and the autopsy x-rays, the autopsy photographs, all of the photographic evidence in the case, it's all real. And that panel had like 24 of the foremost photographic experts in the field from all walks of life, from academia, from the private sector, from everywhere. And they all agreed that all of the photographic evidence being cited is real, right? The people who try to tell you these photographs are fake, it's people like Robert Grodin. It's people like, what's the other guy? Jack White, I think his name was. But it's like none of these people actually have education or accreditation in the fields they're claiming expertise in.
Eugenio's another one. Mm-hmm. He thinks it's all fake. What are his qualifications for
being able to arrive at that conclusion?
Yeah, exactly.
They don't. There isn't any qualifications.
Look, if you're not an expert at a subject, and if you don't have a subject down pat, keep your mouth shut. Really, defer to professional opinion, or do a study of the subject and try to analyze it yourself.
Well, the thing is, at some point you're going to have to demonstrate your methodology. Mm-hmm. You're going to have to demonstrate, okay, how exactly did you arrive at this conclusion? What exactly are you demonstrating? And they can't do that because they don't have anything, because they're not fake, they're real. All right, Patrick also asked, very good, Patrick, thank you for giving us all these questions, buddy. He asks, does he have a favorite post-2000 book? Mine would be Reclaiming History. That would be
Mine would
best.
be Reclaiming History too.
I mean, in the branch of JFK assassination research, Lone Nutter books, there's really only two. There's only really Case Closed and Reclaiming History.
I really enjoyed the lady who wrote about the Garrison case.
Patricia Lambert's
book. Oh, it's super.
False Witness.
Yeah,
I've been meaning to read that. I've also been meaning to read Marina and Leith by Priscilla McMillan.
That's another really good one, but that's pre-2000, right?
Mm-hmm. I've been meaning to read that book for years. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Norman Mailer's book is really good too.
I did read that one, Oswald's Tale. Yeah,
Oswald's Tale, yeah.
That one's very good. I honestly believe that is the best biography of Lee Harvey Oswald. Hands down.
And Cruel and Shocking Act. I believe that's post-2000 as well.
Yeah, I got that in 2013, I believe.
I liked it because it examines the Warren Commission at a granular level. The inner workings of the Warren Commission. And then once you read that book, you realize how stupid all this nonsense is, because you realize that the Warren Commission was not a monolithic entity.
Yeah.
Right? There was a lot of dissension within the group. Two of the commissioners actually disagreed with the conclusions of the report. And it was not really the commissioners, really. I mean, it was all the junior lawyers who did all the legwork. Right.
There's also that famous recorded phone call between Lyndon Johnson and Richard Russell, wherein Richard Russell is saying to Lyndon Johnson, I can't work with Earl Warren. I can't be on the commission with that guy. And he's like, well, we've already released it to the media. You're on the commission.
That's LBJ for you.
And essentially, Lyndon Johnson said to Richard Russell, look, I don't really care what you want. You're going to do what I tell you to do because I'm the president. I'm not going to sick the FBI on you, and I'm not going to make problems for you, but if I say you're going to be on this commission, absolutely, 100%, you are going to be on this commission, Okay, Patrick's final question. If there was a conspiracy, would he agree it must have Oswald as the shooter and was more likely very small with a Cuban connection? Possibly with a promise, maybe false, a passage to Cuba because Oswald was obsessed with Castro, a possible motive? Yep.
That is a possibility, yeah.
I think that if there was a conspiracy, that would most likely be it. It would most likely be... But I mean, that's not the conspiracy everybody's been imagining for years and years and years. I think the best conspiracies are the ones that have Oswald as the shooter in the plaza, because those ones can divest themselves right off the bat of all this complicated, multiple shooter scenario. Right. And you can just have the single bullet theory and say that Oswald was encouraged by others. I mean, unless those people had foreknowledge of exactly what he was going to do, then it wouldn't count as conspiracy, No. I mean, we'll never know. We'll never know for sure what really happened in Mexico City. But I think there is a potential there where somebody could have... we discussed this last time, that Sylvia Duran could have taken him out to a cantina or something, let him hang out with some of the boys, and they could have had a couple drinks together and started talking about this person should get killed, that person should get killed.
Right.
But that's not like a conspiracy.
Not really a conspiracy,
I don't think anybody said to Lee Harvey Oswald, go back to America, kill JFK, we'll get you access to Cuba. Because how would they know? How would they know he would even have a chance to kill JFK? It's not the elaborate thing that everybody imagines it to be. Sorry, I'm just looking for more questions. So this question is from our buddy Bill Brown. He says, is there any physical evidence which points anywhere other than Oswald? Simply put, no.
No. Just hearsay, he said, she said. He heard, he said. That is not tangible evidence of anything.